All right. What do you have to go over in some prospects?
Yes. Okay. Let's get on to what I did today, which is I watched all of the pro days. Or what I did is I watched all of the pro days for all of the quarterbacks, and I wrote my initial thoughts watching their throws and everything that they did, and kind of put like what I thought each quarterback, how they did, and everything like that.
Right.
So, do you want to start at the bottom and go up, or do you want to start like with my current ranking that I feel like, or how do you want to do it? Do you want me to start from just the top of my rankings or bottom?
Let's do bottom. Keep me interested. You
Okay.
go the way up. Maybe I know some of the bottom people.
So, we're starting at the bottom. Flash over. You can pull up Jamie Newman. That is who I think is the bottom of the quarterbacks that I have available. And he's more of a day two guy. At least that's what he's getting talked about. That's the hype around him. So he was, I believe, at Georgia first. And that's what they have him listed at. He transferred to Wake Forest, or maybe he was at Wake Forest, and then he transferred to Georgia. I can't remember which way it went. But basically, Jamie Newman, he's talented. He has some, like, watching his throws, because I don't think he had a pro day, so I couldn't watch his pro day, but I tried to watch like some of his throws just in game against like good talent. So like generally when I watch quarterbacks in college to kind of determine how I feel about them, and this is why, like, and then just to kind of preface this too for those listening, I for some reason, like, not for some reason, I do a pretty good job of scouting quarterbacks every year. And like
Yep.
Dylan, you can even attest to it. I've told you, like, if you remember correctly, that draft where it was Sam Darnold, like Josh Rosen, Baker Mayfield, Josh Allen, and Lamar. I told you the quarterbacks that I thought were going to be the best out of that draft was Baker Mayfield and Josh Allen.
I
Now,
do
granted,
remember that.
Lamar, huh?
I do remember that. It's
Yeah.
true.
Now, granted, Lamar kind of flew past me a little bit, but that's because I didn't know if he'd develop as a passer as well as he seems to be getting that way. So if he continues to, he's going to be great. But I didn't, so he kind of flew past me a little bit. But I every year do a pretty good job of scouting quarterbacks, and so I kind of pick who I think is going to be successful that year. So kind of going through all of the pro days, and then like I said, I'll give you like who I think is going to be the most successful. So Jamie Newman, right off the bat, like I said, very inconsistent accuracy watching him throw the ball. There was times where he would throw it right on the dot, in motion, in kind of a fluid, in rhythm. And then there was some times where he would throw the same ball, but it would be like underthrown or like at the guy's ankles or something like that. So it's just very inconsistent in his accuracy. He also seems to, I wrote at least, he seems to have the ability to show some touch. So touch on ball, for quarterback, basically just meaning that a quarterback can kind of loft a ball or kind of like put enough touch quotations on a ball that the ball ends up perfectly in the spot. So you're not like gunning it in, you're not lobbing it in, but it's just this perfect like touch throw that, like when you put it into a spot, it's like, ooh, that guy that was a really nice touch on that throw. So he had some ability to show that. There was like one or two passes that I was like, man, I can see it. I can see the flash. It's there. It just wasn't consistent enough to put him anywhere near the top of the list as far as quarterbacks. Now he does have some running ability, but again, the running ability isn't close enough in the comparison to like a Trey Lance or like a Justin Fields to be enough to give him a little bit of a boost. So in my opinion, he's at the bottom of my list, just because of that. He's also seems too much of a project. He does have some zip on his ball, so zip meaning that he's throwing the ball kind of on a line, so the ball doesn't get a lot of altitude or air on it. It's more of kind of a zips in. That's he does have some zip on his ball. It's just not enough touch, not enough prettiness on the deep passes, and sometimes he doesn't see defenders. Like I watched a couple of interceptions where he threw a ball to an open receiver, but if you actually looked at the defense, he wasn't open because there was a defender, corner safety lurking near him, where he basically just undercut the route and intercepted it. So I saw that a couple times out of him. He's that's why he's at the bottom of my thing. I think his peak is probably a good backup in the league. I think that's pretty much where he's going to be. I don't think he's a starter unless you really like you'd really have to unlock something out of him and really develop his passing to make him into something. But I really just think he's more of a project or too much of a project to do that with any team in the NFL. So I really see him more of as a day 3 pick where he's a backup basically.